overwhelming moments on paternity court.
You feel like he never made you a priority.
Right.
And he didn't follow through on his promises to you.
Right, and it's like now you want to spend time with your other kids, but you didn't make an effort with me.
As well as, Your Honor, anytime that something is wrong, I'm also reminded, oh, you're not her father. As soon as we start to argue, you're not her father.
Mr. McGreer's summer affair 2 decades ago led to the birth of defendant Amy Wade. He's here to assert his biological fatherhood, while Amy suspects another man. She says that she does not want him to be her father.
You know, I'm doing this because I love her, and I really want her to know. I really apologize for the times that I wasn't there and couldn't be the dad that I really want to be.
I don't believe that you're my father. I don't want you to be my father.
You don't want him to be your father?
No, he just was never there as a father. He popped in and out of my life.
Miss Wade's recount of Mr. Greer's presence in her life is a patchwork of scarce moments. Their first meeting when she was 5, a trip to New York, then years of absence until she was 11 or 12. The pain of his absence is palpable.
If you did, you would have made an effort to be there no matter what.
But I did make efforts to be there with you.
But you bounced in and out of my life.
But when I could, I did.
It does not
And I
matter.
did.
You should have been
And
the
at
father.
the end of the day,
you should have been a father.
I'm still your dad.
No, you're not.
I'm done.
It's my decision.
But at the end of the day, we could change this.
Intriguing revelations unfold as Miss Wade recounts her past with Mr. McGreer. A brief summer affair led to her pregnancy, and she believed him to be her daughter's father. However, her narrative takes an unexpected turn with the mention of another gentleman. A one-night stand? The audience is on the edge of their seats.
It was a summer affair. We were together for a couple of months. I started dating another guy, and I didn't find out until I was approximately 3.5 months pregnant.
Did you know for certain if Mr. McGreer was the biological father?
I don't think it could be the other gentleman because I don't believe in one-night stands. We only had one occurrence.
Mr. McGreer faces the question of doubt about his biological connection to Amy. His resolute response paints a picture of trust and commitment. The tension escalates as he shares his reasons for distancing himself, sparking an empathetic response from Judge Lake. The painful impact of broken promises and unfulfilled commitments adds depth to the narrative.
When she's with one person, she's with one person. But really have a woman in your life that really cared for you, I didn't want to mess that up with her, you know, even though I had a relationship with her. But I couldn't have been the man because my lifestyle wouldn't allow me to be the man that I needed to be, or a father as a family.
Amy's tearful confession exposes the pain of her father's absence, amplified by unmet childhood desires like a $10 book. Judge Lake uncovers her feelings of neglect, unveiling a complex relationship as she voices her longing to be a priority. This emotional exchange captures their bond's intricate layers.
You're not so bad of a person. Like, you could have done it.
You feel like he never made you a priority.
Right.
And he didn't follow through on his promises to you.
Right, and it's like now you want to spend time with your other kids, but you didn't make an effort with me.
As Mr. McGreer reflects on missed opportunities, he acknowledges the pain of growing up without both parents. Amy then shares an intriguing encounter with another man who claimed to be her father, offering her comfort, quality time, and experiences. This stark comparison highlights the intricate web of emotions at play in their quest for truth.
He would just come around and speak to me, give me a little change, like pocket full of change. He said that he could be my father, and that's when he automatically introduced me to like 6 of his other kids. And after that, I spent more time with them. He's been taking care of me ever since that age. He has been there for my prom days. He spent time with me and his other children.
This other man treated her like a daughter, spending time together and making her feel loved. Amy's older brother even stepped in to fill the father figure role. The situation brought a lot of hurt, and she wishes things could have been different. But now there's a chance for healing and moving forward once the results clear the doubt.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. McGreer, you are not the father. I'm so sorry.
But like I said, the broken promises won't be broken.
In a gripping showdown, Miss Wilson says that Garrett Kelly is her daughter's dad. While Mr. Kelly's family denies it, she wants Zoe to have her rightful place, but they doubt the connection. Mr. Kelly, joined by his wife, insists his late son isn't Zoe's father, The stage is set for a tense legal battle.
Ms. Wilson, you opened your case today because you believe the deceased, Garrett Kelly, is your 4-year-old daughter Zoe's biological father. You claim Mr. Kelly's family refuses to accept your daughter until you prove to them that he is her dad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. and Mrs. Kelly are grappling with their son's loss and a paternity dispute. They're unsure if their late son Garrett is Zoe's father. Mr. Kelly reveals that Garrett had doubts before he passed away. He admits Garrett said he didn't know if he was Zoe's father. This revelation has been lingering, adding to their overwhelming heartache.
I don't believe Zoe is his child because of what Garrett had said to me before he passed away, because he actually had a doubt. When he was telling me that Chris was pregnant, and I asked him, "Are you the father?" and he said he did not know.
Mr. Kelly explains that there was never a disconnection between him and Garrett, even though he had moved on to another relationship. Ms. Kelly shares their unawareness of Garrett's continued contact with Ms. Wilson. Garrett was living with someone else and even engaged. Despite this, doubts remained about Zoe's paternity, leading to ongoing uncertainty.
4 or 5 years, but it was always back and forth, always back and forth. There was never a disconnection between Garrett and I at all.
But see, we didn't know that Garrett was still in touch with her. We didn't know they were still having a relationship. He had fathered another child. He was living with that person.
Mr. Kelly had only met Zoe 6 months ago and was surprised to learn that she is believed to be Garrett's daughter. Mrs. Kelly explains that a relative brought up the topic during an unrelated conversation, mentioning a picture of Zoe. They hadn't seen her picture before, and they were unaware that Miss Wilson was still pursuing paternity claims.
A relative called me about something totally unrelated, and it came up. It came up in conversation with the relative. She said, "Have you seen a picture of what's supposed to be Garrett's child?" And I said, "No, we've never even seen a picture. We have no idea what she looked like. We didn't even know that the mom was still pursuing anything."
During the time when Christina and Garrett conceived, she was technically in another relationship. She explains that there was a break in that relationship and she removed her IUD due to cramps. Although the other man had a vasectomy, she and Garrett were intimate as well. She emphasizes that she had no doubt about the paternity.
At the time that him and I conceived. But that's where nobody understands, and it just doesn't seem to, it must be a liar or something. But when I was with this other man, we had a break. I had an IUD. I always took care of myself. I took it out due to menstrual cramps. I took it out because I knew this man had a vasectomy.
Mr. and Mrs. Kelly are seeking closure from this ongoing uncertainty. With Garrett's passing 4 years ago, the constant revival of this issue keeps reopening the wounds, and they hope to finally put an end to it. So, had the results turned out in their favor?
The percentage of relatedness between Mr. Gary Kelly and 4-year-old Zoe Wilson is 99.7%. You are related.
I told you, babe.
Mr. Benning comes back to court after his partner's unfaithfulness. Doubts cloud his mind about being a dad to Robin and Jermaine Jr. Miss Bodine enters sure she has proof. It's not just science, it's feelings, secrets, and surprises. Are his doubts correct?
Mr. Benning, you recently appeared in couples court and it was confirmed that the defendant cheated on you. This infidelity has caused questions regarding your 2-year-old daughter, Robin, and 6-month-old son, Jermaine Jr.'s paternity. Although you are hopeful that both are your children.
Yes, Your Honor.
The judge asked, could the other guy be the dad? But Miss Bodine steps up, determined to do right by her child. She takes the leap, gets the test done, and it turns out he's not the father. Well, if she has already taken the test, then why is she reluctant to take another test with Mr. Benning?
How do you know this other guy is not the biological father?
Because, Your Honor, I stood up and did the woman and the mother thing I had to do and got the other guy tested.
Oh, so you had a DNA test on the other guy already?
Yes, and he wasn't the father.
And you submitted those results to the court?
Yes, I did, Your
All
Honor.
right.
Mr. Benning shares how doubts affect him. He told the judge how arguments bring hurtful words like, "You're not her father." Ms. Bodine defends her stance, but Mr. Benning feels stabbed. He wants to prove he's the father. At this moment, the case got overwhelming.
As well as, Your Honor, anytime that something is wrong, I'm also reminded, oh, you're not her father. As soon as we start to argue, you're not her father. But if you need
say
something,
stuff,
I'm
you
the father.
say stuff to hurt my feelings. Why
Have
can't
I
I
ever
be with
told you that you're not the parent of your kid?
You can't. I pushed him out.
Okay.
Why are people doubting Mr. Benning as the child's father? He questions their words and wants to prove his fatherhood. Ms. Bodine is confident, but Mr. Benning doubts her. He seeks clarity for both kids. Court heads to Robin's results.
I cannot control what other people say. I know what I'm saying and I know what I proved. So you have your doubt or not. I'm here to prove today that you're the father.
Because you are just 100% certain.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Bodine says she is 100% certain. That doesn't make your doubt subside?
I don't trust the thing that really comes out of his mouth.
Facing overwhelming emotions, Mr. Benning's journey takes a turn. When the court announces Robin's paternity, his world shakes. He remains strong, acknowledging his commitment to be there for her. Memories shared and bonds formed won't change. His doubts about Jermaine Jr.'s paternity bring him back. Seeking the whole truth, the court assures his clarity.
Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
What the?
Oh.
Miss Harris caught in a love triangle trying to figure out who the father is. The two men are fighting to be the kid's father, which led them in the court. Mr. Murray, who is currently in a relationship with Miss Harris, claims that he is the father. But was Miss Harris intimate with Mr. Donaldson too during this time?
When I got pregnant, he told me he had feelings for another girl. He told me that he didn't want to be with me. I was basically alone during my pregnancy. He was there during the baby shower and he came to the hospital with his mom when I had her.
So wait, you're dating Mr. Donaldson, you're in a relationship. You all are boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah, we were.
Judge Lake asked Mr. Donaldson if he was at the appointments, to which he said no. But it was a relief to know that he was there during the birth of his child. It seems like he had a hard time telling his parents about him being the father of Miss Harris's child.
I did not find out about it. She was about 5 months, maybe.
You never knew your son was possibly the father of this child?
He told me about it. I accepted that he was because that's what Chastity stated, that he was the dad.
At what point did you say, Mom, I have something I have to tell you?
I told my father, and my father told her.
Mr. Donaldson messaged Mr. Murray to tell her that possibly could be the father of this baby. But Mr. Donaldson doesn't seem to remember. He told the judge that he cannot deny this, as he does not even remember it. Ms. Harris' family thought that the baby looks exactly like Mr. Murray, which may have led to a doubt.
You all ended up having a sexual encounter during that time?
Yes.
But you say you used protection. Miss Harris, why are you so convinced that Mr. Donaldson is the father if you admittedly had sex with Mr. Murray?
Because during that time, he used protection.
Anaya's birth on October 21st sets the stage. Ms. Harris recalls her trysts with Mr. Donaldson in January and February, then pauses in March. Here's where it gets interesting. She indicates a middle of February encounter with Mr. Murray, but claims they used protection. Yet Mr. Murray remembers an unprotected escapade on December 14th. The plot thickens.
When were you intimate with Mr. Murray?
It was like in the middle of February, but he used protection.
So you were intimate with Mr. Murray around this time, but you say you used protection. But Mr. Murray, you say you did not use protection.
We had a situation December 14th.
Harris consulted with Miss Weaver, claiming Mr. Murray wasn't the father. Why? She based this on the doctor's conception date. But let's not forget, protection isn't foolproof. Despite this, Miss Harris firmly believed Mr. Donaldson was the dad, while bonding Anaya with Mr. Murray, who's been around since she was just 3 months old.
That was because of the date of conception that the doctor told her.
So you were basing that off what the doctor told you?
Yes.
But now you all know that even with protection, we know that it's not 100% certain, but you just felt like, based upon your experience, Mr. Donaldson, I really believe you're the father. And you told Mr. Murray you're not.
Yes.
As Anaya's birth came around, Mr. Donaldson's tune changed, seeking a family with Miss Harris. She was already with Mr. Murray by then, though. Anaya's appearance also added to the complexity. Miss Weaver, Mr. Donaldson's mom, found a striking resemblance between Anaya and her son. A side-by-side picture of Anaya and Mr. Murray's baby photo added another intriguing layer.
You believe Anaya looks like your grandchild, like your son's baby.
Right.
And that's a picture of Mr. Murray on the left and Anaya on the right. Why are you smiling like that, Mr. Donaldson?
Because that's a real, they do look alike. Like that, you can't even lie. They look alike.
Ms. Weaver told the judge that she has developed connection with the baby. She said that Anaya is her grandbaby and she is Anaya's meemaw. If it turns out that Anaya is not Mr. Donaldson's daughter, this may break Ms. Weaver's heart, as it will be too overwhelming for her. So, what did the DNA result prove?
Mr. Gerald Donaldson, you are not the father. Mr. Murray, you are not the father.
I can't sit here no more.